What's up, JEFusion fans? This is Philip and welcome back to another video. So, the video that I'm making today, I just remembered this idea that I had more than 12 years ago by this point already. So, to give you guys a bit more context about this video, around that time, so I watched Gaoranger VS Super Sentai, and it kind of gave me an idea that I kind of shared with at least a couple of tokusatsu fan groups that I've been in. Uh, so basically, moving on to today's topic. So I would like to talk to you guys about the 4 fighting styles of Super Sentai. So to give you much more context and backstory, so going to Gaoranger versus Super Sentai, what basically happened at the beginning of the story is that an enemy appears and he kind of renders uh, Gao Black or Gao Black, Gao Yellow, Blue, and White powerless, or they're unable to fight for some reason, leaving Gao Red to fend for himself. Now, to help bring back, the fighting spirit of the other 4 Gao Rangers, uh, other Super Sentai veterans came in and they stepped in to help out the other 4 Gao Rangers. So, namely, we have Gao Blue assisted by, I believe, Go Yellow, so from Gogo 5. So Gao Black has been aided by Ginga Blue. Gao White was aided by Mega Pink, and Gao Yellow was aided by Red Falcon from Live Man. So these 4 veteran Super Sentais taught the other 4 Gao Rangers, about their predecessors who share similar fighting styles. So we're going to talk about those fighting styles and which one I like the best or which one fits me personally. So, anyways, let's talk about that. Now, the first one I would consider the broadest and probably the vaguest fighting style, if you would even consider it so. What am I talking about here? I'm referring to the female warriors. That's right, the female warriors. Now, I'm not sure if being a girl has something to do with, being able to fight, but don't get me wrong. Um, I will mention, by the way, my favorite rangers who fall into these categories. And speaking of like female rangers, they also fit into other fighting styles from time to time, so I will mention them in other fighting styles. But let me generalize the female warriors for a bit. So basically, what Mega Pink was talking about is that the female warriors kind of excel in um, disguise. They kind of use their female charm to either distract their opponents, or again, in conjunction with disguise, so they can trick enemies into either giving them information, giving them something that they need, right? So basically, the girls are masters of disguise, and none could be masters of disguise. Uh, in my personal opinion, my favorite in terms of this aspect, the Gaoranger girls. So considering that they're police officers and they do undercover jobs from time to time, so they kind of have to wear costumes. By the way, there's a candy in my mouth, so pardon me. I just want something sweet right now, but I'm also recording this video, so pardon that. So yeah, the Gaoranger girls, and I guess I would include Patoren Sango because again, she is also a police officer, but Lupanyo kind of edges her out in this category, I guess. Maji Pink, Also is very good in this regard because she uses magic to disguise herself into actually like she uses her magic to turn into objects, which is interesting. Now you might notice that I'm also mentioning Rangers post Gaoranger, by the way. So I guess I have to mention that to be clear that I will also mention my favorite Rangers that are post Gaoranger. So yeah, now that said, let's continue. So yeah, these are some of my favorites from post Gaoranger era. But I guess for the pre Gaoranger era, I would say one that really stuck to me the most would be I would say Time Pink. At least there was an episode that she really shines as a master of disguise, and she uses her female charm to actually distract the opponent, and it worked so well that even her teammates kind of mm, notice that she's a woman. So of course. So yeah, so those are the female warriors. But again, not for some female warriors, they're not only masters of disguise, but they also excel in other fighting styles. So next, let's move on to what I would call the technical warriors. So this is when Gao Blue was coached by Gao Yellow to, you know, uh, to get back his fighting spirit, and that's one thing that characterizes, you know, the technical warriors. So they're known for their fighting spirit, so their never give up attitude, and I guess it kind of helps like when you're trying to learn a particular skill, so you don't give up until you master it. But I would say I could subcategorize the technical warriors into the following. So first, the speedsters. They, as the name suggests, they rely on their agility to, outpace their opponents. So the tricksters. Tricksters use either acrobatics or, you know, uh, trickery to, how do you say, like get through their opponents, I guess. So like they're gonna fake some moves, or again uh, use acrobatics to fight. And then we also have like the gunmen, right? So of course, as the name suggests, so they prefer guns than close range combat, although they can also fight effectively, melee from time to time, but usually their preferred weapon would be the gun. And the tacticians, so tacticians are not always like technical fighters, but a lot of technical fighters are tacticians. So using their intellect, they can also be mixed with some tricks, like trickery, but they strategize and plan out their attacks. Uh, so again, it shows dedication to, you know, uh, proving that brains over brawn can win. Uh, well, not every battle, but definitely something useful to have. So, uh, in this category, I would say my favorite technician would be Deca Red. So Deca Red is a gunman, but he also combines martial arts with his gunsling ability, which he affectionately calls Jukundo. So again, using martial arts and marksmanship, I would say Deca Red is my favorite technical warrior when it comes to this. Now, next, we go on to the strong warriors. So, uh, uh, what's interesting about the strong warriors? So, when Ginga Blue was teaching Gao Black about the strong warriors, so he talks about, or he explains that true strength comes from a desire to protect something that you love, which is really kind of nice. But as a fighting style, I guess being strong is the most straightforward thing that we can imagine. So, using your brawn to overpower the enemy. But again, that strength comes from a desire to protect something that you love, which, again, really noble. So, I'm not really a fan of power types. So like if I imagine myself, like the reason why I usually don't like, or I'm not really into power types, is because like I can't see myself as one. So but when it comes to power types, who would be my favorite? I guess my favorite power type, I guess one interesting ranger in this regard would be Magi Green. So he is the designated power, or he's the designated strongman of the Ozu siblings and the Magi Ranger team. But he can also use magic to actually gain more muscle and become stronger, which is actually, well, design wise, it looks hilarious, I would say, but also, again, very practical considering that he uses a lot of strength to fight. So, yeah, now moving on to the last category, and I'm saving this for last because honestly, I have a bias for it. The swordsman. Yes, I really need to have my sword right here. So, according to Yusuke Amemiya, aka Red Falcon, while he was trying to coach Gao Yellow, so a true swordsman, or the sword, feeds on courage, right? The sharpest sword is one that feeds off courage, if I remember the line correctly. But that's one of the quotes that really stuck to my mind until now. So the swordsmen in general, or according to Yusuke, they are the ones who conquer their fear of death, and again, with their sword, they help save the day. And most Red Rangers fall into this category. So I say most because not everybody is a swordsman. So, for example, the very first Red Ranger, so Aka Ranger, is actually a technician, not a swordsman. So he never had the sword actually. And the very first swordsmen in Super Sentai, fun fact, are not Red Rangers, but Blue Rangers. Well, we have Daya Jack from Jakka Dengekitai as our very first swordsman in the entire franchise, and he's a Blue Ranger. Followed by Battle France, who is also a Blue Ranger. So, yeah, the very first Red Swordsman that was ever recorded was the second Volt Eagle, so Takayuki Hiba. Now, the first Volt Eagle was considered a technician, but yeah, the first Red Swordsman was Volt Eagle. Now, I'm going to say, again, because of my bias, so here are my favorite swordsmen. And this is going to be quite an exhaustive list, but in terms of my actual favorites, I would say well, definitely Red Falcon, because of the quotes he left in that movie. Like, he's one of my favorite swordsmen in the entire series. And some, like, post Gaoranger heroes or Red Rangers, or swordsmen that I like. I would say Shinken Red, definitely. Ryuso Red. Uh, I guess Ryuso Black is also one of my favorite swordsmen. So who else? Well, I definitely have to give props to Kuwagata Ojo for that. I mean, like in terms of like teams that use swords, I could generalize them here, but like picking personal favorites, I guess I did forget to mention like Black Condor from Jetman. He's one of my favorite swordsmen. So yeah. But I guess if you know, I don't want to though I don't want to sound too biased because again, like I love Red Rangers, I love swordsmanship, and that's the gist of it. Now, considering women in these other categories, a lot of women can also be categorized as technical warriors. A lot of them use acrobatics and fancy moves. Although I haven't seen the series, uh, no, like one that I would remember actually like seeing on TV, and I still remember would be Five Yellow from Five Man. So she is an expert at wushu and definitely really shows a lot of technique there. Who else? I would say Geki Yellow. So well, she isn't really like a graceful technician like Geki Blue, but she relies more on the speed. Yeah, as her spirit animal, embodies. So the cheetah. So yeah, so her rapid punches really work well. Uh, when it comes to strong women, so I would say they're quite a rarity in Super Sentai. But if I'm going to think about strong women, I'd say Yuso Pink could fit this description very well. So she is actually kind of teased for being like physically strong, although she is also handy with a sword. But I would say she is the designated strong girl of the group. So yeah, and last but not the least, swords women. Yes, so there are a lot of swords women in the franchise, and I could name a lot of them from the top of my head. And the first one that I could remember, although I haven't seen the series, would be Dyna Pink from Kagak Sentai Dynaman. So she uses a fencing foil as her signature weapon, so she's basically a fencer. Similarly, Five Pink from Five Men also uses a similar weapon. And of course, the female rangers from every ninja sentai, ninja type sentai, so they're considered swords women. I could consider them as such. And the girls of Shinkenger, definitely. Uh, I guess if I were to choose a swords woman, like a single one, I would go for Hime Shinkenbed. So yeah, so she's the first female Red Ranger in Sentai history, and she is definitely a swords maiden. And of course, who could forget about Rita Sama, right? So Papillon Oger. Although Rita's signature weapon, I guess, with the king's weapon is an arrow, so bow. But the king ogres, well, they use the ogre caliber much more anyway. So yeah, we could definitely count Rita as a swordsman. I mean, sure, Himeno has Himeno can also be here, but again, personal bias. Sorry. So yeah, which one is your favorite fighting style? Of course, you know me already. But let me know down in the comments. Are you a technical fighter? Are you a strong fighter? Or do you prefer to use disguise as your fighting style? So let me know down in the comment section. Thank you so much for watching this quite random video, but it just brings back memories, and I thought it would be interesting to talk about. So, what you guys think? Which category would you fall under? Leave it down in the comments. And as always, thank you so much for watching. please do leave a like, share, subscribe, and don't forget that notification bell so you get you get notifications from JEFusion. I don't know what I'm saying anymore. But anyways, thank you so much for watching. This has been Philip, and I'll see you next time. Bye.